So more like Slinky Dog, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Slinky Dog is not a kiddie coaster. That is a serious coaster.
Controversy here tonight on the DCL podcast. Well, hello and welcome once again to the DCL podcast. We're inviting you to sit back, relax, and we'll be on our way shortly. Well, welcome back to the DCL podcast, your podcast to help you and your family cruise a little smarter when the ships are sailing. And I'd like to welcome back to the show our co-host all the way down there. She's still wandering around Florida, lost in the Everglades. How are you doing today, Christy?
I am well. How are you, Steve?
Not too bad. What were you up to tonight?
We went to the Festival of Arts at Epcot. Oh my God, it was so fun.
Super jealous. Have you seen something? Well, you were trying to show me something. I wasn't really paying attention. I apologize.
The nerve. Yeah, we bought a print, I forget the author's name or the artist's name. Dan, I'll have to look that up. Anyway, I'm very excited. And so we bought a print and we looked around. We did the Figment art thing that they do. You know, they do that scavenger hunt. Like for the last festival, they had Olaf, and this one is Figment in different art pieces. So we did like a couple of countries, then we ran out of time.
Oh, nice. I think that's probably one of my favorite ones that I've been to down there.
It's so cool. It is. I can't pick. It's like picking a favorite child. I don't know people that do that if they have more than one kid, but I feel like I wouldn't be able to really pick a favorite. And that's how I feel about my festivals.
Okay. Well, talking about favorites, we've got two favorites that we had on, I think 6 months here. This year has gone by so fast. I'm not even sure when they were on last time. They joined us for talking about this large group of singles that cruise together. I'd like to welcome back to the show, Andrea and Joe. How are you guys doing tonight?
Feeling good, Steve.
Excellent.
We have our fake beverages and our fake Meridian Lounge.
The fake Meridian Lounge. I love it. And Joe, what would you be drinking if you're in the Meridian Lounge?
Oh, gosh, a dirty, dirty martini.
Oh, I love it. How about you, Andrea?
Oh, probably, we'd probably be in Ooh La La.
Ooh la la.
If we were with me, grabbing me some delicious champagne.
And Christy, where would you be?
The concierge line. I mean, if I had a choice, that's where I'd be.
Well, there you go. Well, I'm up in the Cove Lounge tonight enjoying a nice beverage. I think I'm going to go with a nice red wine after dinner. But, I'm super excited because we've been turning to some port adventures. And this is kind of a loose, I think this is kind of loosely based on a port adventure because you could do this on a port adventure over in Europe. But we are going to head all the way across the ocean and talk tonight about where, Joe?
Disneyland Paris.
Ooh, welcome to Paris.
Mm-hmm.
Bonjour.
Now, had you guys, before we talk about Disneyland Paris, had you guys been to France and Paris before?
I had.
And I had not.
Okay. And when did you go? Was this something that you did in school, Andrea? Did you go afterwards? Did you do that backpack thing with friends? When did you go over there?
I actually, when I graduated college, I moved to London. I taught there for about a year. And so basically any weekend, I was like, let's go to Paris. And I did. So it was good.
So you guys went separately? Separate trips to Disneyland Paris?
No, we went together, but originally, like, my experiences in Paris were when I lived in London and then with Joe again, because who doesn't love Joe?
I mean, we had to experience Paris together.
He seems very lovable so far, so I can...
Thanks, Chrissy. The same to you.
Thank you.
So you guys are kind of a big travel group. You do cruises together. I know you've been down to the parks together. How many people went on this trip with you guys?
Just us.
Just the two of you. Okay.
We tried to talk more into it, and they were like, no, it's too short a trip. And then they all regretted it, I would just like to say. So it serves them right.
Joe, had you been to Europe before?
So I had been to London once, but that was my only experience in Europe. So this was like an awesome opportunity to get to experience another city, but also, Andrea and I love our Disney, so we wanted to get that in too.
And then when did you guys do Paris then together?
Yeah, it was actually about 2 years ago now. It was right at the end of the 25th anniversary of Disneyland Paris. And we headed out there in the beginning of September because, as we may have said before or not, Andrea and I are both in education. So we had a long weekend. I think we had Monday and Tuesday off from work. So we hopped on a plane on a Friday night and did a long weekend in the beginning of September about 2 years ago.
So about 5 years ago, my husband had to be somewhere in Europe for work, and we did a long weekend in Paris. That's exhausting.
Yeah, I was very tired. Joe fell asleep on the train from Paris to Disneyland Paris. I took a picture. It was good.
I think that's acceptable because you fly all night, you get no sleep on that flight, and then. So did you fly in and then go right to Disneyland Paris?
No, we did Paris. We saw the city.
Then you should have been awake.
I mean, listen, we got off that plane, like you said, early in the morning, I think on a Saturday, right? And we went through Paris the entire day through the evening. I think we stopped to eat at like 11:30 at night. And then the next morning is when we did a little more traveling, and then we headed to Disney. So that train ride was welcome.
I understand. All right. We'll give you credit. Okay. So where did you guys stay in Paris?
That was me. I just Pricelined a hotel just because I don't know. Sometimes I still get a kick out of like naming your own price, and there are websites where people are very intense about being like, these are the hotels in this category, so choose this many stars and choose this area and bid this price. And I mean, we got like a 5-star hotel for I mean, it was really cheap for like, it was 2 nights or something like that. Maybe it was 1 night.
I think it was 1 night only. Yeah.
Yeah. And we were in the Marais. It was very close to everything. We were able to walk. It was great.
The Marais is where, do you guys ever watch House Hunters International? It's where they're always at. And that one lady with the hair.
That is why I looked it, because of that lady.
That is fantastic.
Did you see her?
No, I wish. I would have been like, that House Hunters lady. But no, she wasn't around.
That must be my favorite podcast line or section ever, Steve. Okay, so
you get that one? Yeah, go ahead.
So Paris, what did you guys have planned?
Everything in no time.
Well, I get it because we did the exact same thing.
Yeah, I mean, we hit the ground running. We dropped our stuff off at the hotel, and we basically got one of those transportation passes where you can hop on and off the buses and the trolleys and just go throughout the entire day for one price.
The underground, though, not a trolley. Where are we, San Francisco?
Oh, same.
London?
No, there was something above ground.
Well, were you on a hop-off, hop-on bus, or were you just on the metro or whatever it's called?
Yeah, we were on the metro pretty much.
Yeah, and there were some buses and underground. So I think the first thing we headed to was, where do we head to?
I think Notre Dame, Joe. It was very sad because we were there, and then not very long after, we watched it burn. It was devastating. Very sad. We did Notre Dame. We did not do the Louvre. Instead, we did the Musée d'Orsay. I thought it was a little more manageable. And Joe was like, too much, because I said we could gangbusters the Louvre, but Joe was like, too much museum.
Yeah, we walked for like 10 minutes just to go see the Mona Lisa. I swear, it may have actually been 15 minutes of straight walking through there just to get to the smallest little Mona Lisa.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Mm-hmm.
And then saw one other thing and left.
Yeah, we did go to Montmartre, and Joe climbed to the top of Sacré-Cœur. I sat on my behind outside of Sacré-Cœur, and people watched. We went to the top of the Eiffel Tower. We walked down the Champs-Élysées.
We had crepes and macarons.
Yes, we did do that. Yeah, it was good.
It sounds like the perfect little trip.
Yeah, it was good.
How was going up to the top of the Eiffel Tower? That was the one thing we didn't do.
Yeah, that was great. We planned that for the evening so we could see all the twinkling lights and everything.
Yeah, but we didn't book it in advance, which I would do if I did that again. We didn't do that, I guess, because it just wasn't a thing the last time I had been in Paris in like 2003. So now everything you book in advance. So do that. If you're going to Paris, book the Eiffel Tower. Like, don't stand on that line. You'll feel really dumb, like watching people just get on the elevator. Ugh.
I've only been to Paris once, but I think one of our favorite things that we did was after we went to the Louvre, we only spent half the day there. We just went out to a park and bought a bottle of wine, and just people watched, which was just magical.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the parks were beautiful.
So you guys do Paris for the day, and then you head over to Disneyland Paris. Booking Disneyland Paris is a little bit different, isn't it, Christy?
It is. So for regular people, I think they can do it online now. but you cannot book all room categories, or you have to call Paris, like literally pick up the phone and call Paris. I will say, as a plug to the show, that we travel agents can book Disneyland Paris, and we have like a US number we can call. Now they keep the same hours as Paris, so like I can't call them after 2:00 Eastern time, but it is very easy to get a hold of somebody. So if anybody's interested, I can help. And then they can still like price out stuff online. But then sometimes there's extra discounts that travel agents can provide, that the Disneyland Paris provides to travel agents. Not always, but sometimes. And it just makes it easy because we can apply everything and do everything. And it's going direct through to Disney without you even having to call. Or if you have questions, you can get those answered. And then just as a reminder to everybody, the podcast does get a cut of anything sold that comes through the podcast. So it's actually helping out the show.
So how did you guys book this time, guys?
I booked online. I went online and I said, Disneyland Paris. It's actually so much easier than booking Tokyo. Tokyo is a disaster to book. Paris is not too bad, but you really do kind of have to like really look around at what you're looking at, because it doesn't make it clear like where the hotels are and like, you know, I mean, because some are like Disney hotels, but they're really kind of far away.
Mm-hmm.
Joe and I booked the Disneyland Hotel,
Which is right there.
It's right there. You cannot be any closer. You are in the park, basically.
I think
great.
like the entrance is underneath your hotel, right? Like to get like below the hotel to get into it. It's pretty. It's a pretty fantastic location.
Take an elevator down, and you are on Main Street. It's epic. It's cool. It's the coolest thing I think I've ever done.
So it's kind of sounds like the Grand Californian out of Disneyland, where it's kind of attached to the park. You can walk right into it.
It might be better.
It's better. Yeah,
Okay.
I've stayed at the Grand Californian, and that sort of just brings you into like where the Grizzly River Run is. This is like if you were staying in the train station.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say.
Yes.
That's where this hotel is. It's ludicrous. It's pretty amazing. If you're going to do it, that's my opinion is just do it.
So
That's
let's
awesome.
talk a few more basics. What else did you have to book, or what else did you guys book before you went? Did you book park tickets? Did you book any type of dining experiences? So you definitely booked the hotel. What else did you book ahead of time?
Yeah, it's a lot different than booking Disney stuff here, because we're crazy planners. We book everything, dining, fast passes, we book it all. But obviously there, like Andrea said, she booked the hotel, and Andrea, you got the park passes as well, because we did do a package.
Yeah. So I booked the package with the pass and the hotel. They have like I get really bad FOMO, as Joe will tell you. So like I was looking at when I was booking the package, they kept saying stuff like, oh, like club suite or like VIP, and I was like, VIP, like I want to be a VIP, and I did not book it there because it was so much more money. So then when Joe and I checked in, we were like, so talk to us about this room, like how much would it be to stay there? Because usually if you always ask at the desk, they'll always be like, yes, it's available, or like, get out of here. Nothing is available. But they upgraded us to that club level in Disneyland Paris for like nothing. It was like $200 extra a night. It was ridiculous.
Yeah, before we went up to the desk, we chatted and we were like, okay, listen, if they tell us it's going to be $200, we're in. If it's anything over than that, nope, sorry, we're passing on it. We asked the woman at the counter, and she was from New York, so we made a little connection there. Her mom was a nurse, and like there was some connection out here, so we were like, all right, we got this. Her price was just above what we had set.
It always is.
But I mean, Andrea and I are the ones that'll be like, okay, fine. If we're going to do it, we're doing it. And we're lucky that we didn't have any of her other friends this time to bring us down with that decision.
And Christy, it came with a lounge.
Mm-hmm.
It came with that beautiful lounge that overlooks the castle with the fireworks and has free character breakfast. And it was crazy. And it was huge suite. And
I mean, she walked us up to the room, opened the door. The suite was incredible, but as soon as we walked in, there was a bottle of champagne, a box of chocolates, a basket of fruit.
I need to stay there.
And they weren't even expecting us. It was very weird. It was awesome, though. I'm not.
Yeah, how did they have all that stuff up there already?
I have no idea. It was crazy.
I actually made a point to write this down because I remember the last time you guys were on, how many magical things happened for the two of you.
I swear we don't plan it, but we do get lucky a lot. I'm not gonna lie.
I think they saw your name on it. And they were just, we're just going to put them in the suite. They knew that weeks out once you guys had booked it. So
You have such like a sunny disposition. They were probably just like, give them everything. They're so nice and happy.
It was crazy. We basically both had our own rooms. There was then like a living room area. We each had our own bathroom. It looked out. We were in like the corner of where the hotel would be, but we could look out our window and see Main Street and see the castle. Incredible.
That just one night?
No, 2 nights we did there. The reason that I was so intent on trying to upgrade once we got there was the VIP pass. Yeah, that thing, if you have limited time in Disneyland Paris, I mean, that was a home run. Like, you just flashed it and got into Fast Pass line for any ride. I was like, Disney World should do this. I mean, they have it sort of, you do a VIP tour, but like, I don't
lot more than 200.
So let me go back just to understand this. If you're in that room, you get VIP access to the parks.
Yep. And it's not just that room in the Disneyland Hotel. They have rooms like that in Hotel New York and the Newport Hotel, the Rhode Island-y one.
Yeah, I don't remember what it's called. But
I think one other hotel has those. They call them something separate in every one of the hotels, but in the Disneyland Hotel, it's the Castle Club.
Did you guys think about staying at any of the other hotels today? Any of the other ones intrigue you at all?
At the time, the New York was not undergoing the renovations that it's undergoing now, or that it has just undergone. So, Andrea, I think we would have considered that more now because it's
definitely
the Marvel Hotel, right?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. So for Marvel, we definitely stay there. Christy's like, no, she's shaking her head, but we love Marvel, so we would definitely stay there. And I think we did consider Newport, but I think at the end of the day, we just shook our heads and we're like, this one is right on Main Street. Like, if you're going to do it, you might as well just splurge. FOMO, you know? Like, we don't want to miss out on anything.
So did you eat in the parks?
So actually, along with the room and the VIP pass, you do get access to their concierge. So basically, there's a breakfast every morning, and not just a breakfast, a character breakfast for only the people in these rooms. So there were maybe like 2 or 3 other tables with 2 to 4 other people in this room, and out comes a character. And basically, the character interaction is the best you've ever seen. I mean, they hung out with us and played around with us for like 10 minutes. You know, not just like come over, take a picture, and leave. They were there.
Yeah, I know. It did get awkward, actually, after a while. We were like, okay, like, I'm going to eat my breakfast now.
So there was that breakfast. There was a high tea in the middle of the afternoon. You got tea and some snacks and such. And then in the evening, there was, you know, similar to the concierge rooms here, there was dinner, but you could have made a full meal of it.
And we did eat in the park. And actually, Joe has something in common with you, Christy. Go ahead, Joe. Go for it.
Let's see if Christy can guess. No.
That's so mean.
So, Christy, I have celiac disease, so
okay.
I'm gluten-free as well.
So how did that go? Because I have seen some reports. There's not a lot of food there in the Disneyland Paris.
Yeah, so I'll be honest, having that concierge was great because the people there would like sneak into a cupboard and just like bring me tons of stuff. Nice. They're like, here, have this, have this, have this. Here's a bunch of cookies. Here's some crackers. Here's some anything. And the restaurants, they have what they call the allergy meal. And doing all the research, it sounded hideous. And everybody basically said, don't even bother. So I didn't. And so they were accommodating for the most part if you wanted to get something with no sauces and things like that. But it was not like, you know, our allergy-friendly Disney World and Disneyland here at all.
Did you have any issues?
No, never did.
Are you typically symptomatic?
Yeah, I would fall asleep at the table like my train ride. That's my first symptom, even if I have a tinge
Interesting.
of gluten. Yeah. But no, so I never had any reactions while I was there. But I was pretty careful, as to what I was eating, of course.
So where sit-down restaurants did you guys eat?
We ate in the Auberge du Cendrillon, i.e. Cinderella's castle. They had some fun characters because they had the mice from Cinderella, which is cool. You don't ever get to see them, really.
Mm-mm.
I honestly don't remember a thing about the food other than I was like, well, we're eating something. But that's about it, Joe. Do you remember any of the food?
They were very much a set menu. So you had like a choice of one or two things for appetizer, a choice of one or two things for your dinner, your main course, and then a dessert. So it was very much set. But also, I'm remembering that our rooms came with 2 sit-down restaurants.
Yeah.
So,
Right. There's one that's really popular. I don't remember what it is.
Is it the one in Pirates of the Caribbean?
Maybe it's the nicer one, though. So that feels like not the nicest one.
Auberge du Cendrillon, I think, is the nicest one you can get in the park. And we did that, and we did the California Grill. Now that I'm remembering, which is in the Disneyland Hotel, not even close to as good as the California Grill. Don't even try. It was fine. I mean, honestly, it's sad because you're in Paris and you expect the food to be like exquisite, and it's just not. It's just not. I would almost venture to say, like, don't even bother and just eat quick service because you really shouldn't spend all that money on that food. It's not good.
We did luck out that when we were in the studios, it was like a mini food and wine, if you will.
Ooh.
There were a lot of little booths. So we were able to get a couple of things throughout there. It wasn't, listed as like a big event like we have down in Epcot here, but there were tons of booths all throughout the park.
Yeah, those were good.
Mm-hmm.
So I know that you guys also like to have a beverage in the evening or maybe during the day or in the morning when you get up. What were some of your favorite places that you found around Disneyland Paris that you enjoyed?
Yeah, in our hotel, there was a little lounge, if you will. It had a lot of music notes. I don't remember the name.
Oh, yes, that jazzy music note lounge.
Yeah. And they had a couple of little balconies. So we actually had our own little table out on the balcony and overlooked not the park side of the hotel, but the entrance of the Disneyland Hotel and the studios and kind of like their Disney Springs area. So, it was nice to sit out there and have a drink or two.
Cheese. I think we had cheese there too. Yeah, that was good. That's a nice little lounge in the Disneyland Hotel. The waiters were really nice as well.
So I've got kind of a weird question. What's the vibe of Disneyland Paris? Does it feel really international? Is it like mostly people from the continent? Are there a lot of Americans there? What's the vibe?
There were not a lot of Americans there. British people, there were a lot of British people. I don't even know what the vibe was. It was really kind of weird.
Yeah, you know what, too? It definitely was not as crowded as here. So I feel like the crowd interaction or the engagement that we see, you feel around Disney World here, you don't feel as much there. It was more of like a solo experience, if you will, if that makes any sense.
Oh, yeah. No, I've never asked that question before about Disneyland Paris. I've always kind of wondered if it's kind of got an international flair or not. So, well, should we turn to the parks, Christy? Or do you have any other questions about food and wine?
No, I'm good.
Okay. Well, let's start with the studios. I know it's a little bit smaller park.
I tell you, I love the Ratatouille ride, but my favorite ride in that park was that Crush Coaster.
The best.
So fun. I wish they'd open that here. That would go so nicely in Epcot. I wish they would open that here.
Could you talk a little bit about what it is?
Yeah, we hit that up a couple of times. So it's Crush from Finding Nemo, and it's basically a coaster and a spinny ride, like a teacups ride, all in one. So your ride vehicle spins on its own axis as it's going through a roller coaster track. The scenery, the animatronics throughout are pretty amazing. There are dark elements to it. There's an outdoor element to it. It's wonderful.
Yeah, I wonder if it's going to be like the new Guardians coaster, or if it's sort of like more off the rack ride. I'm not really sure if it's like they bought it and then just put some Finding Nemo elements, or if they really imagined it from the ground up. I wish I had looked that up. Sorry.
Is it fast or?
Yeah. So you get in it and it first starts out and you're like, oh, this is so cute. And then like Crush goes by and he's like, come on guys, let's catch the EAC. And then this thing takes off and we were like, like it was great.
But it's trackless?
No, it's on
not
a track.
Oh, okay.
It's a roller coaster and you're in this like turtle shell, like an upside down shell. And it spins you around and like shows you different scenes. It was a blast. I loved that ride. It was easily my favorite, better than Ratatouille, which was incredible. Because if you've never ridden a trackless ride, that was pretty cool. The Crush Coaster was a blast.
So not to go black and white, but our least favorite experience was also at the studios. They have what they call a backstage tour.
The backlot tour.
No, this is not worth it in any respect.
Okay, so imagine, if you will, you see the backlot tour and you long for the days of old Hollywood studios with a backlot. You're like, oh my gosh, a backlot tour. It's going to be just like it was and I'm going to feel so much nostalgia. And then you're on it and it's 15 minutes in and you're like, why have I done this?
Wah, wah, wah.
It was so bad.
They basically have like a couple of props from some community theater productions that happened outside of Paris. Not movies, not films, just some random large props that they throw in a field next to some trees. There's no explanation. Literally none.
They take you past that classic film that everyone knows, Reign of Fire. You remember that film, Christy? It was such a classic. I mean, they do take you back into Catastrophe Canyon. So props to that. It was fun for that.
Right.
But otherwise, just don't.
And you should know when you show up to the ride and there's literally like 3 people waiting for it, that it's probably not going to be a good experience.
Well,
I feel like I have to YouTube this now and see.
You should do it. You should. And actually, just in the settings, just go through it at like 2x speed. Just get it over with that.
Don't waste that much of your life, right?
I know, really.
I thought I accidentally got glutened. Nope, I was just that bored.
Joe went on it 3 times. He fell asleep. Just kept going round and round. Okay. Anything else about the studios before we talk about Disneyland Paris itself?
They did have the Marvel area, which obviously wasn't huge yet, but there was that Marvel stage show, which was kind of a stunt spectacular, if you will. You know, it was fun.
I fell asleep during that show. Not because it wasn't good, but just because it was air conditioned and I was tired. So, but I remember seeing Doctor Strange, and that was fun.
They also did an outdoor show. So there's a stage kind of set up like at Hollywood Studios where you have the Star Wars shows out in the middle of the street. There was a stage and Loki and Thor had some kind of interaction, and then Spider-Man was on top of a building, and it's pretty enjoyable if you're just walking by and you want to stop and watch.
I think some of it was special though for some sort of summer of Marvel, I don't know, Avengers.
Superheroes.
I'm just saying Marvel words now.
like I'm describing it.
And I really love Marvel too, which is so sad. Like, I'm just like, there were some Avengers. It happened. I don't know.
Let's turn our focus over to Disneyland Paris, where they have Discoveryland instead of Tomorrowland, Fantasyland, Adventureland, and Frontierland. I know there are 2 rides that I really want to hear about, and I know one that Christy really wants to too. She and I are huge fans of the Haunted Mansion. Matter of fact, we're both big proponents of getting the Hatbox Ghost and the next Disney ship after the Wish. But could you talk a little bit about
the 2021 thing, Steve? You're just gonna
we're gonna try and work the Hatbox Ghost into every episode.
Nice. Okay, just making sure.
Well, we're gonna have to disappoint you.
Yeah,
Christy's already done with me, so go ahead. Sorry.
It was closed. It was closed for refurbishment.
Biggest disappointment.
Down. Yeah, we were devastated because it's on its own like island. You look and you see that, and all you want to do is ride it, and it was closed.
Oh no. Well,
Well, I'm sorry for you.
So it's been a lovely time speaking with you tonight.
Yeah, I know. I don't like any of the things that normal people like.
so tell us about some of your highlights, and you could either do it together or you want to do them separately, or what were some of your favorite rides? I'll just start with you, Andrea.
Okay. I have to say, I have gone to 4 Disneyland, Disney World, Disneyland Paris, Tokyo, Disney. The Thunder Mountain Railroad at Disneyland Paris is by far number 1. It is absolutely outstanding. It goes over, it's the longest. I could be making that up, but it seems the longest. It goes like over these islands. It's exquisite. Like, I just ride it 100,000 times. I could go to Disneyland Paris and just ride that 10 times and be thrilled. It's amazing. So that's my ultimate number 1.
How about you, Joe?
This might be not my number 1, but definitely something that's unique to Paris that both of us really loved. They had numerous walkthrough attractions. There's a pirate island. There's the Aladdin walkthrough attraction. And there's...
Oh, go on. Tell the
Yeah, and the third one is the Alice in Wonderland maze area. And basically, you just explore. And you take your time, and there's no line, and there's no rush. They're all a little bit different. So the pirate island is basically just, you explore this island. There's a pirate ship. You walk through caves. It's kind of like Tom Sawyer's Island in that sense.
But cooler because pirates.
The Aladdin one is basically more of just like a walkthrough. You see these window scenes from the movie, I'm pretty sure. But, you take your time. It's definitely... the area is designed architecturally similar to like an Epcot, where you have these beautiful buildings and you could walk through the entire Aladdin movie, if you will. And then I think our favorite was probably Alice in Wonderland because we were just like running around like children there. It's an outdoor maze. There's,
the Queen of Hearts castle you can climb up into. It was cool. I will say this, if you have mobility issues or you need things to be ADA compliant, this park is not good. It's
like Europe in general.
Yeah, I mean, like Europe, but you would think for a Disney park built in the 90s, I was shocked. Like, you could climb up into the castle is really cool in Euro Disney too, because you can climb up into that. There's a dragon underneath it. You can go down underneath it and see that, but all of these things must be accessed via stairs. And I thought, like, for something built in the 90s or the late 80s and the 90s, like, you would think that they would have made more of an effort to make it accessible, but they did not. So it would be really disappointing to have a child, I think, with mobility issues and take them there and expect something. And then, I mean, I would say all of these walkthroughs, with maybe the exception of that Aladdin walkthrough, would not be accessible to someone with mobility issues. That, unfortunately, was disappointing. But if you didn't have mobility issues, they are really quite cool.
That's good to know.
It's sad, but, I mean, if you don't, it's fun.
Right.
With a shrug.
I like the idea of places like that where you can kind of explore a little bit, where it's not just so quick and fast and over with a ride sometimes, where you can kind of take your own time and find those little hidden places. Like, you kind of intrigued me. I didn't realize that you could get into the Queen of Hearts castle. I think that would be kind of cool to see what's in there.
And they suck up the crowds. Like, I mean, they really spread it out. There were times when Joe and I, like, we were in Frontierland. There's like a fort too, like you can go and climb through this like old fort and stuff. And yeah, like, is it like a real fort would be? No, it's Disney. It's cheesy and whatever. It was really cute, and we were the only ones in it. Like, it was like photo shoot time for Joe and Andrea. Like, we were taking each other's pictures, and like we had a great time.
Like the Disney cruises, we're walking through and all of a sudden Jack Sparrow just happened to walk right by us. So we have our own little interaction with Jack Sparrow. Mm-hmm. He was going to one of his areas where he meets people, but it's different than the setup times and locations that we have down here. It's just more characters available in different places. So people just show up and stand there and they'll chat with you for 5 minutes.
Yeah, you can't even have Jack Sparrow in the American parks because he just gets swamped. And it was amazing. Like, we had a pretty long interaction with him just randomly outside. He was like kind of by himself. It was crazy.
So was there some different characters? You talked about the mice or Cinderella mice up in the castle. Did they have some different characters wandering around too? Like, did they have the Hunchback of Notre Dame?
I wish.
No. Pinocchio and Geppetto, they had a big interaction with a couple of kids that we watched. So they're not your typicals that you see over here.
It was nothing like Tokyo. I mean, if you really want to meet rare characters, like Tokyo is where you want to be. Like I walked outside and saw all 7 dwarves standing there, and I like basically lost my mind. Disneyland Paris had some weird ones. The mice from Cinderella were there. Wasn't there another one, Joe, where I was like, oh my God, it's blah, but I don't know. I don't remember.
I'm sure there was, but
then the pandemic happened and our brains all went to mush.
there we go.
No one
Right.
remembers anything anymore.
So I have to ask you about Space Mountain too, because it's a little bit different. You start outside, and then it's got a very Jules Verne theme to it from the outside as well. What was Space Mountain like?
Really quick, I'm going to interrupt. You guys listening are missing it because their facial expressions are fantastic. And like Space Mountain comes on, and both of them are like, "Eee, this is so exciting! I can't wait to talk about it." So everybody at home is missing that, but imagine that is what is happening on the screen right now.
It's cool. It has a Jules Verne theme, but
That's steampunk, right?
yeah, that kind of like it's sort of steampunky, but then they just Star Wars the heck out of it. So yeah, it's Star Wars now, and so you know how Rock and Roller Coaster like blasts you off? Space Mountain in Disneyland Paris also blasts you off. So while you're waiting for that blast off, all of a sudden, like the theme, and the music starts happening, and I was like probably crying because it was amazing. And then it blasts you off, and you're listening to the score through the it was so good.
Yeah.
And it does a loop too. So
Even if you're not a huge Star Wars fan, just that music gets you no matter what. You're like, I don't know what that is, but it's awesome.
Have you done the one at Disneyland, you guys, when they do it?
I've never been on it when they make it Star Wars.
I just killed Andrea with that
I
question.
know.
Give her a second to recover.
Oh, no, I'm so overwhelmed. No,
She loves
I've
Star
never-
Wars.
I do love. I also just. R.I.P. my Star Wars Run Disney races.
Oh,
They were the
yeah.
best, and I'm devastated. I'm sorry, that guy you had on that was like, it's okay, retheme. I was like, no, this is terrible. I was listening to it and crying. But anyway, no, I've never been on the Star Wars Space Mountain. Anyone who says Space Mountain in Disneyland is better than Disney World is wrong. And I don't,
Wow.
it's just,
But you,
go ahead. It's just not as cool, Christy. I'm sorry, it's not as scary. Like in Disney World, you feel like you're gonna die because you're one behind the other, and it seems so rickety, and you feel like you're going to fall
which
off.
is why it's been a good 10 years since I've been on it.
Right. I've never been on it then, but I have to say in Paris, it's so cool. The blast off with the loud Star Wars music is great.
So we've done it a couple times at Disneyland. And I'm totally drawn a blank on the name, what they call it with the Star Wars theming, but it is amazing. It just puts a chill up your spine when that music starts, doesn't it?
Yep.
So, anything else then? I guess what other highlights did you guys have in the parks?
They had a great parade that year. Floats that we've never seen here. There was a Lion King float. There was a Toy Story float. There was just an awesome Peter Pan and Alice in Wonderland. You know, we get some of those, but to have them all in one parade, that was like one of the first things that we experienced when we walked into the park. So that was pretty awesome.
So you guys were there 2 days, right? 2 park days or 2.5 park days?
Like 2.5, I think.
Actually, I think it was like 1.5.
Really?
So we got there on a Sunday afternoon. We went straight into the park that afternoon, and then they had the next day full, and then the day after that. So it was like 2 full days if you count 2 half days. Tuesday in the morning we went, did a couple of things, and then we headed off to the airport to get back Tuesday night.
Was that enough, do you think, to see it, or what would you recommend?
With the VIP.
Yeah.
If we did not have that VIP, we would definitely not have had enough time.
What were the lines like? And you were there like in September, school for Parisian, whatever. I'm tired, guys.
Yeah, I get it.
But school had started, right?
The VIP worked for almost everything, not the Crush Coaster. So we kind of had to go to the Crush Coaster first every day. I don't know. There were a couple other rides that the VIP thing didn't work, but I don't think we waited more than a half an hour. There's still a lot to do.
Yeah, I would say definitely we didn't wait more than a half an hour, even on the regular lines that we went on. So crowds weren't crazy. They did pick up for the evening shows. That's when you saw the crowd. We did do a nighttime illuminations, they called it, show on the castle. And it's interesting because there, people sit down and stay seated and
Wouldn't
stay
that
in
be
their
lovely?
spots. Oh, it was so good.
Yeah. Parades in every other park I've been to but the American parks are a joy. I mean, in Tokyo, you guys don't even know. Like, people bring they bring their little sit-upons and they sit and they just don't move and nobody crowds you and everybody just politely sitting. And I was like, this is a miracle. Like, where even are we? Like, it's a trip. Everybody's so kind and lovely in Paris and in Tokyo. It's the Hunger Games in Disney World.
It's so bad. This would have been in December sometime. We were at Epcot. One of the cavalcades were going down. We were back like in England somewhere in there, back in there. So we happened to just be standing back and looking over at the cavalcade coming. So I see this lady in her stroller and they're like, they have the little kid and they're just sitting there like waiting for the cavalcade to come through. Some like guy runs in front of this child and the mother and like stands in front of them to take a picture, like jumps out of nowhere, stands in front of them to take a picture. I wanted to go and smack him myself, and it wasn't affecting me at all.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it is wild here in the U.S.
Yeah, there's a fun Indiana Jones ride too.
Yeah, I love that ride.
It's a looping coaster. That's pretty fun.
So I'm a big shopper. Are either of you guys shoppers? What was the Disneyland merch like?
I don't remember a lot of it, though. Do you remember it?
There's those looks again.
Honestly, I am
looks of pain.
gonna say, like, even looking for something for ourselves or looking for like souvenirs to bring back, like, there wasn't anything great. So it's not a merchandise kind of place as far as we could tell.
It wasn't. I spent my life savings in Tokyo. I spent a lot of money there. That's some good stuff. But Paris, I think I bought my mom like the Pandora Disneyland Paris castle. Each park has its own like castle charm, but that's it. I wish there was some good merch, but there wasn't. Yeah. Sorry. If you're going to Disneyland Paris, go for the rides. And that's about it.
I apologize, everybody, because I got a little distracted because my kid came in the room. But was 2 days enough with the VIP?
With the VIP, 2 days was definitely enough. If you don't have the VIP, you're going to need 3 days. Full days, I would say.
Unless you wanted to skip all the walkthroughs. I suppose you could do that. We did take our time through those and just sort of soaking up the general like ambiance of the park. I mean, maybe you could shave off half a day if you leave off the backlot tour.
The nap time tour.
Just a half day, cut out the backlot tour, you good.
So what surprised you guys the most about Disneyland Paris?
I wasn't expecting it to be a beautiful park, if you will. So like Andrea just said, walking around was awesome, but it was nice to look around and see things and be relaxed. It wasn't crowded like here. You weren't running around. You could actually take everything in. And there was a lot to take in, from just the architecture of the buildings to the landscaping. The trees are shaped like squares or cubes. They're not. They're designed in this fantastical way. They realize that it's a fantasy park. It's just a beautiful place to walk around.
I was surprised by the fact that because when you go to Disney World, it's like ride, and I just running. I mean, yeah, maybe like I stopped to like see a show, but yeah, like Joe, I found myself really interested in climbing around a pirate ship for an hour, like taking 40 minutes to climb all over the castle and like take a picture here and take a picture there and just appreciate the fact that, it really did feel, you definitely felt like you were not in a Disney park that you knew, that you were really familiar with. So I thought that was really, I appreciated that.
I've been through Sleeping Beauty Castle, and Disneyland. And I think that that's kind of a neat little hidden gem to sort of find, especially they've got the different scenes from the movie and everything like that. So I totally appreciate what you're saying there, Andrea. Well, I guess as we kind of finish up, we've talked about a lot of different things. You got given people a lot of different advice as far as how to experience Disneyland Paris. Anything else that you would recommend as far as visitors going over there for the first time?
Don't stress it. Just book it and go. And don't treat it like a Disney in the United States vacation. Relax. You know, you've done most of the things, so hit the things that are new and different first, and then just explore. And don't worry about making it a crazy, planned, organized anal trip like normal. Just enjoy it.
I think that's perfect advice, Joe. Good job.
So you guys, kind of like the rest of us, have been kind of living adventures by apartment or house, where featuring hour-long excursions to your bathroom, your living room, or kitchen. Mm-hmm. I think we're all ready for that to end. What's next for you guys?
Well,
our March trip got canceled, so I did have that DVC reservation in Grand California. We canceled it. Boo. But go ahead, Joe. Tell them what we booked, Joseph.
So after we canceled a trip to Disney World last April when we were going to do the Star Wars run, then we booked a double dip to Castaway Cay this past August, which we had to cancel. Now we have this March trip canceled. So after all of these cancellations, we were like, okay, there is a Disney cruise Baltic, a Baltic cruise that is cheaper than anything we had previously booked somehow for 10 days. Now,
oh my God.
We realize it's going in August.
It's a long shot. It's a long shot.
It's scheduled for August.
It's scheduled for August. That's right, Christy. So it may not be going, but if it does, we will be on it. And we will have added, Andrea,
the Adventures by Disney add-on.
That is so exciting.
Yeah, we're excited.
I mean, Disney really has basically all of our money right now.
Yeah. We
So
just
we're
kept kicking the can down the road. Like, honestly, from the run that was canceled to now I signed up for this run that was canceled and 2 cruises. It's just been crazy. It's really been crazy. Oh, you know what else? I forgot. We really like this ride. We rode it like 5 times. The Casey Jr. Storybook Train was adorable. It was like a kiddie coaster. Joe and I were the only 2 adults on it. It was great. People were looking at us. Yeah. I mean, just go and act like a kid. Ride the Casey Jr. Storybook Train.
Like a barnstormer, but there.
But cooler, but longer. Because it was really long. So it was nice.
So more like Slinky Dog, maybe.
Maybe.
Yeah.
Slinky Dog is not a kiddie coaster. That is a serious coaster.
Controversy here tonight on the DCL podcast. Well, I'm super excited for you guys to do that Baltic cruise. We traveled there with Norwegian, just love that region of the world, kind of fell in love with a lot of the little towns that you get to visit. And I think St. Petersburg is a place I would love to go back to again. Is there a destination or a stop in there that you guys are really looking forward to?
Tallinn. I want to go to Tallinn, Estonia. And St. Petersburg. I'm dying to see that Amber Room.
Yeah, St. Petersburg, that's really the main.
The palaces are amazing. I mean, indescribable. So if it doesn't work out this year, which I hope it does, hopefully you guys can kick the can down to 2022 with all the rest of us, I think, as we keep pushing things forward.
I mean, I hope they'll let us. Right now, they're only rescheduling up till May of 2022.
I know.
And honestly, with a year of canceled cruises, I think they're going to need to, I mean, don't you think they're going to need to extend that?
Yes, I do. I think Royal just recently and Celebrity just recently extended theirs. So I'm hoping that Disney will as well.
I think a lot of us are. Well,
and I mean, who knows when we get to actually cruise?
Yeah, I want it to be safe, you know, and I know we pay a premium for Disney. So if they're not able to have the things that they usually have, like, you do want it to be worth it. People are spending a lot of money on them and we love the product. So.
Well, as we kind of close out tonight, Joe, Andrea, thank you so much for coming back. It's so much fun to talk with you guys. We're going to have you on one of our live shows so people can see you live, because I think that is like, you're only getting half the show here. Christy and I got the full show.
Oh, yeah. Their facial expressions are awesome. They're amazing.
Well, it's totally our pleasure.
We hope that this wasn't too boring for your listeners to be like, listen to these two ramble about Paris.
A little scattered, but
No,
I mean, if somebody doesn't like Marvel, then I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. Totally kidding.
no, your personalities are infectious, and I really want to thank you once again for coming back. And we look forward to bringing you back on soon. And I'm going to hold you to that live show. We're going to bring you on for one of our live shows if you guys are up for it.
We totally are. We love being on your podcast, Steve.
All right. Well, all the best to you guys. Take care, and we'll talk to you soon.
thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Bye.
So I'm gonna throw one word before we leave here. Mandalorian.
Mind blowing. I loved it.
Gluten attack.
Joe. See, this is why sometimes Joe and I aren't friends. Joe, get off this podcast right now.
So it's
Christy,
like,
come on. Can I have some
I'm
help?
with you, man. I'm with
Okay.
you. I wouldn't even turn it on to fall asleep. I'm not even putting it on.
I tried really hard.
Joe, you didn't try hard enough.
So one half of the screen is falling asleep. The other half of the screen, very into it.
Totally.
All right, Joe, give us your show on Disney Plus then.
Ooh, well, I'll go recent Soul because I absolutely loved it. Can we go with that?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
The movie Soul.
Yeah, that was a great show. I love that one
Ooh,
too.
wait, guys, fun fact. I just found out that my voice teacher, my voice teacher from college, her son is Dr. Dan on the Animal Kingdom documentary.
Shut up.
I
Stop.
was freaking out. I was like, "Wait, your son? He got to touch the manatee?" I was losing my
Can
mind.
you have to come here and then you have to get us a play date with Dr. Dan.
Oh my
Make
god!
it happen.
I
Amazing.
wish, man, it would blow my mind. It would blow my mind. I
know.
remember when he was going to vet school, and I was like, "Wait, that's your son? He's on." It was
And
crazy.
he's got the best Instagram page, Steve. You have to, I know you're not on there much, but you have to follow it. It's so good. My favorite is related to Dr. Dan, although I haven't seen him yet. It's the Animal Show at right now on Disney Plus. I
Yes.
don't remember what it's called, but
That's a good one. I don't know the
something
name.
Animal Kingdom or Animal something. And Olaf is the voice. It's so good.
Yeah.
Isn't that what I'm talking about? That show where they every week
Maybe.
Dr. Dan was taking care of the manatee.
Well, I haven't gotten there yet then.
Oh, I'm sorry. Spoiler. Dr. Dan touches a manatee.
That's exciting.
But we have to talk about in 2 days from now, WandaVision. I mean, that will be my favorite.
Yeah, that'll be good.
That's like one of those ones I'm not sure how to take it, but I think it's going to be great.
I'm agreeing with you.
And I don't mean that negatively whatsoever. It's just kind of like, I think it's kind of like The Mandalorian. I didn't know what to expect, and it just kind of blew a lot of people out of the water, and I think WandaVision is going to be the same way. Well, that's going to wrap up our show today. Once again, I really want to thank Joe and Angie for coming on once again and discussing their trip to Disneyland Paris with us. I think that is a place that has been added to our bucket list, and hopefully next time we're in Europe sailing on that beautiful Disney magic, we're going to try and work out a way to get over to Disneyland Paris, and I hope that you and your families get an opportunity to do it as well. We're also excited to announce that if you are looking for a travel agent and you want to use Christy, her agency, Just Cruises and Vacations, has offered to give us a portion of every trip booked through her back to the podcast. Christy is a fee-free travel agency, and the prices that she quotes you will be the same as what you would get through Walt Disney World, Disneyland, Disney Cruise Line, Adventures by Disney, etc. So there is no cost in using her. So if you would like to help support the podcast and you're looking for a travel agent, think about contacting Christy over at packyourpixiedust.com, and she'll be able to handle anything that you need to do or want to book coming up here in the future. Well, if you're enjoying the show, we sure would appreciate it if you would go over to iTunes and leave us a review. That helps us get known a little bit better in the podcast world behind cruising, Disney, and just the travel world in general. Well, spring break is just around the corner, and I know a lot of families are planning on heading out and doing a little exploring, skiing, or whatnot else out there as far as spending some time just away from the house. We want to wish you just safe travels out there. Be well, enjoy that time with your family. And on behalf of myself, Steve, Christy, and Chris, all of you here at the DCL Podcast, we want to thank you for coming back and taking a listen each week. We wish you and your families be well, take care of each other, and we'll see you next time on the DCL Podcast. The DCL Podcast is not affiliated with the Disney Cruise Line, Walt Disney Company, Adventures by Disney, or Run Disney. All of the opinions expressed on our shows are those of the hosts and the guests who appear on the show.
If you have any questions about any of these products, please contact the Walt Disney Company.